Which kids without an offer should Arizona offer, and explaining a little bit more of the Carter Bryant decision process.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it Locked On Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. Locked On, your team every day. This episode is brought to you today by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. All right, we are going to talk a lot on this show. And I say a lot about players that I would offer and getting ahead of the curve a little bit. And just kind of wrap some things up, maybe even talk a little bit of football. But first, even though it's not on there, I want to talk about the Carter Bryant situation here for a minute, because I've had a lot of people that are like, why is Tommy Lloyd just getting pushed around? Why doesn't he just tell Carter, poop or get off the pot? And it's really not that simple. And here's why it's not that simple, for a variety of reasons. First of all, Carter Bryant's camp maintains that they are undecided. Now, couple things here. With Carter Bryant, he is in their camp, they are very, very respected, and they are top-notch people on the California circuit. Everybody knows who they are. They're really good dudes, and again, they do things the right way. If they're saying they're undecided, I have no reason to believe that they are not undecided. Now, does that mean that they could certainly end up in the NBA? Sure. No doubt about it. But these are also guys, like I said, that have a really good track record to them. And if they were just going to declare for the draft, they would have just done it. It's not that simple. All right, it's not that hard. If they were for sure that they were going to go into the NBA draft, then they would go ahead and they would do it. So again, that's something that I think you need to factor in here. Now, the other thing too is that he's also, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to annoy people on the Southern California circuit. That's another one. This is not difficult. You want to be able to tell these kids that, hey man, Carter Bryant had a really good time here at the U of A, and we stood by him, and we let him make his own decision. And I think that's something that, will go a long way. Because the last thing you want in an area like Southern California, the last thing you want is for the rumors to get around that you're like, okay, guess what? He didn't really like his time here. He didn't like how he got pushed out. He didn't like any of that stuff. You can't have that happen. You can't have that happen under any circumstances. And especially, too, for a kid that is a good kid that's got a good rep. And on top of that, let's just say, and I know that nobody really believes this is going to be the case, but let's just say that that Carter Bryant is going to come back for the that's kind of where we're at. If he's going to come back, that's a national title contender. And not only is that a national title contender, I think that's the best I think that's the best team in the country. And that's, I think, something that is going to be I think that's going to be something that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But either way, Arizona's going to be in a good spot. Now, it's going to be on Tommy Lloyd to be able to find guys. It's going to be on Tommy Lloyd to be able to find guys that are, how do I put this? That are, you got to be resourceful, whether that's a Euro, whether that's somebody that's still in the portal, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to be resourceful. But if Carter comes back, I do believe that this is the best roster in the country, and I will run with that. So again, we will see. But I wanted to explain kind of that thought process here, that they believe the Bryant camp, and I believe the Bryant camp too. I don't think that there is any reason whatsoever for them to say that, yeah, we're not going to we're not going to do this or that or whatever the case may be. To me, it makes if they're going to stay in the NBA draft, then they went through the process. But if they don't, then so be it. We got a national title contender on our hands. All right, so just wanted to break a little bit of that one down. Now when it comes to football here, and basketball, there is one thing that I think you look in state. This is a loaded in-state class for very loaded in-state class here for Arizona basketball, and there's some kids without that offers that. I don't know. I would probably go ahead and offer. We're going to break down their game. Here a little bit. And the first one that is not offered yet, but I would absolutely offer is Mason Magee. I love Mason Magee. Kid out of Basha, very talented player, also a really good kid. TJ's been recruiting this guy from day one, and I think, and again, this is just a guess, but I think if it was up to TJ would have probably offered him a while ago. He makes a lot of sense on a lot of different levels. You can bring him in, and he can immediately be your backup point guard. Everybody loves the backup point guard. I get all of that. And he is and like I said, everybody loves the backup point guard. And there's a reason why, is because it's important to have a good backup point guard. Also, you love to have somebody come in that could be a starter down the road. That's another thing that you're like, okay, can this guy be a starter down the road? That's something that you want. That's something that you want as well. He can do both of those. And again, he's a good kid. TJ's been on him from day one. And I think that I think that Arizona should offer him, because he gives you good insurance for Akina Olozi or whoever you bring in, and he could be ready to rock and roll that next. Year. I would absolutely offer Mason Magee. I'm a big Mason Magee fan. I also like just kind of how he plays. He's a steady Eddie. He is like I said, you watch him and the game doesn't get too fast for him or anything like that. He is a really good player that I would like to see Arizona offer. And again, I believe that there is some real possibilities for success there with him long term, and he's in state as well. And I'm also kind of at the stage too when it comes to a lot of these guys that if they're in state and and TJ signs off on them, then yes, I'm going to be totally cool with that. So, like I said, we shall see how that plays out. But he's a really good basketball player, and he's also somebody too that you watch him and you're like, okay, that's the kind of guy that people are going to want to play with as well. That is, like I said, that's something that you're going to want that you want as a that is something to that you're like, okay, where are we at then? With Mason Magee? You want a dude like that. He's a leader. He can shoot the three. And not only can he shoot the three, he can also get after it defensively. Like I said, just a player that you want on the team. And again, too, I'm always going to be a little bit partial to in-state kids. I just am. And when it comes to in-state kids, he's right up there. And if he wants to be a U of A Wildcat, I would go ahead and I would bring him in, because again, I think that he is that type of guy. And I think that, like I said, I think that TJ would sign off on it. So we shall see. Now, the other one, too, that I would obviously offer is Taj Ariza. He's a little bit different because with Taj Ariza, you know that he is good enough. Not only is he good enough, he is he's a player. His father was a Southern California legend, and he's like I said, that's something that you got to look at and be like, okay, what can he bring here? I'm excited to see it. I think that you offer the kid. I think you offer the kid. I think you offer the kid right now, and you go with it, and then you prioritize him accordingly. He's very talented. He is he's the type of guy that could be the top pick in the draft type talented. That's where that's kind of where he is with where he is in the grand scheme of things. He's you're always looking for guys that can space the court and things like that. You watch him; he can do all of those in spades. He is a how do I put this? He's just really, really good. He would be probably the best player that has ever signed with Tommy Lloyd, or at least maybe the best NBA prospect. And there's another interesting reason why that I think Arizona should go ahead and just offer him. But first, Amazon Fire TV, my friend. Amazon Fire TV Stick. Okay, here's the deal. We got a lot going on here. Did you know that Fire TV is also on Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football to Call of Duty Black Ops, and avowed early as your stream. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K, May 1, 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube. Check it out. Again, it's a lot of fun. Everybody is using it, and it makes your life a lot easier as well. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now let's talk a little bit about then Taj Ariza. You bring in Taj Ariza. He's also with Clutch. That's something that again, that's not something that we really would need to minimize around here. Clutch is important, and if Taj Ariza reaches out to Arizona, guess what? Arizona is going to recruit Taj Ariza. We'll see how it does play out. But again, you watch him, 6'8" shooting guard, can get to the rim whenever he wants. He's better than his pops, and his pops is really, really good. But Ariza's an animal. And again, he's with Clutch, so I would imagine this is a little bit different than a Mason Magee situation. I think they go ahead and they will offer him. He just, like I said, with Tommy, there's a protocol that you go through, and that's what I think they're doing right now. Tommy will, like I said, I would imagine Arizona offers him, and who knows, maybe Arizona gets him. But either way, like we talked about in the 2026 class, you're going to be in good spot either way. You're going to you have your Cam Williams, you have your Cam Williams, you have your your guys like Christian Collins, Holmes, Losey, Elijah Williams. You have all those dudes. This is going to be one, though, that you got to be able to bring in, and you got to be able to say, okay, where is Arizona then? How are they going to be able to get back to where they've been? Both those guys can do all that. Now, moving on to 2027. Now, listen here. I will say this: Arizona will offer kids in 2027. I don't think that there's any real way around that. They will offer kids in 2027. The one thing, though, that you watch, and I'm like, okay, how are they going to get better? The first thing I think you need to look at is Jason Gardner Jr. Yes, he's a legacy, and yes, that is something that obviously factors into all of this, but when you're a legacy and your name is Jason Gardner Jr., you are going to be and you're good enough, you should end up at the U of A. Now, he's already, I think, been offered by Purdue and Indiana, and he's clearly good enough. I mean, he's ranked in the top 25 in the entire country, and he's a little bit different than his dad, where his dad, was tough. His dad was weird. His dad would, break people down, but he wasn't necessarily quick. And I think that's something that, you got to look at, and you got to be like, okay, no, not at all. I think that's something that people need to. I think that's something people need to look at. And I think that's kind of where Arizona is in the grand scheme of things. So. Now, what is that next step? I think that with Bruce Branch, Arizona is in a very unique situation here. Bruce Branch is very, very good And Bruce Branch is obviously very, very good. He's also somebody, too, that you watch him and you're like, okay, that next level for him could be really high. Because he is he's 6'8". You watch his family. You watch how he goes around doing things, and you're like, man, that's a next level. Type. That's also a next level type of situation here. And I think with Bruce Branch, he's going to be an NBA player. He's going to get offered. Again, Arizona does pretty well with the Gilbert Perry kids. I think that's shown itself out. They got Dylan, they got Koa. I think they could probably get Bruce Branch. It's just going to be a battle for somebody like him because, again, he's going to be offered by Texas. He's going to be offered by all the big schools. He's a top 10 player in the country. I don't know how else to put it. He's a top 10 player in the country. And I think that when it comes to Bruce Branch, like I said, I think the sooner you offer a kid like that, the better. But he's an amazing player. He's a dude that you watch him and you're just like, man, that guy's going to be next level, and he is. He is just he's just a big time player. You watch him and you're just kind of like, all right, well, that's what you're hoping to get to at the that's who you're hoping to get to at the next level. We will, like I said, we shall see. But it is exciting to see him because, again, he's a really, really good player. He's an in-state guy. If I'm Arizona, I would go ahead and I would offer him. He is like I said, I don't believe in waiting to offer a kid if he's clearly good enough. Obviously Tommy Lloyd is a lot smarter than me when it comes to things like this. But I would not go ahead and I would go ahead and I would offer, and I would just make that one happen. So we shall see. Then Darius Wobbington. Darius Wobbington, I think, is an easy offer. He's 6'11". He can shoot the three. He can get he's 6'3". He can shoot it. He can do things around the bucket. And he's a good kid. Arizona is his dream school. If Arizona is a dream school for a kid, I think that you go ahead and you offer him. There is a unique situation here where, when you have somebody like Wobbington and they're going to commit, sometimes you're going to be like, okay, well, we want to hold off on the offer a little bit just because, well, we know that you're going to commit. But I believe that he's good enough to commit. I think that right now you go ahead and you bring him in and you say, okay, let's have fun with this one, because again, he's a really, really good player. And I think he fits in really well with what Arizona wants to do. That's the other thing that you got to factor in, is how do they fit in with how you want to go around, building your program. And I think Wobbington is that. Plus with Wobbington, he's a 3-year dude, or a 2-3-year dude. He's not going to come in here. He's not going to be leaving immediately or anything like that. He's going to be somebody that is going to be in here and you can kind of build around. Now, you might say, well, Mike, I don't really care about building around other players because they all end up leaving. Well, that's a point that I can't really sit here and dispute entirely. But again, I would offer him. Plus, he can shoot. He's good. You watch him, and when you see somebody that could shoot like that, and he wants to be a Wildcat, and again, one of the things about him is that he kind of hovers from time to time, and I get that that's a little bit annoying, but you offer him. I think you go ahead and offer him. That to me is an easy one. All right, now we're going to talk about a little bit of the portal talk here, and there's something also interesting about this. But first, Monarch Money, my friend. Monarch Money. Okay, all right. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full responsibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and you start building wealth. That's what you want to do. You want to start building wealth. Surprising insights. When I started using Monarch, I realized how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I can budget and save more. That's the great thing about it. All in one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan more long-term goals. And again, it's an easy collaboration as well. You're not having to rely on some dude that's in I don't know, like Bangladesh or something that you can't, you can get somebody that is right there for you. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use Locked On College at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code Locked On College for half off your first year. Thanks for keeping it Locked On Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. Locked On, your team every day. All right, the next thing that I think we need to talk about is again, what are those portal options? Listen, I know we talked about a Tyon Grant Roberts and, somebody like that, and I think that he could be a backup option in the portal. But right now, you're looking, if Arizona is going to bring in somebody, it's going to probably be somebody from the international route if Carter does leave. Now, again, it's kind of annoying because I do think that, there's this conception that people keep saying that, Carter's going to leave, Carter's going to do this, Carter's going to do that. But at the same time here, there is also a situation where, he could come back, and if he comes back, then you're the best team in the country. I'm excited to see, what the possibilities are either way. But one thing about this, though, is that if we're talking about this, Tommy Lloyd and Murph and TJ and all them, they are talking about this as well. They clearly know what the deal is. It'll just be interesting to see, what that plan is if Carter doesn't come back. But at the same time, I'm also really excited to see. And I'm happy, honestly, that Tommy Lloyd played this one the way that he has, because the last thing you want to do is push out somebody that's really, really well thought of in California, and that's really, really well thought of in California. And there is, like I said, we're kind of in the spot now where you just got to play the waiting game. Now, is it ideal? No. But at the same time, it's also something where I think people are, they're a little bit antsy, and I totally get all of that. But it's also up to Tommy Lloyd and the coaching staff to be able to figure out how they're going to make that one work. They can, they can do that. They're getting paid a lot of money to be able to figure this one out. And keep in mind, too, no matter what you think, they're going to have a lot of NIL there for Carter's money as far as he comes back. And, like I said, he's already signed that deal. So you can look at it and you can be like, okay, well, what's that next step then? So we shall see. But this is, again, you look in the 2026 class. You look in California. You look at your Christian Collins. You look at your Taja Reezes. I mean, going forward, you're going to have other dudes in California. You don't want to be known as the one that forced Carter Bryant out. That is not a hill that you want to live on. And Tommy Lloyd's not going to do that. So there's 5 kids, though, that I said that I'd offer. The one that I really, really like, though, I would really like to see them offer Mason Magee. You offer Mason Magee, then I think your point guard situation is, it's not set, but you're in a pretty good spot there. Then I think going forward, if you offer Mason Magee, because he can, like I said, he's a good player, he's a good developmental guy, and he can help now as well. And I think that's something that we need to look at. Can you help now? Mason Magee could help now a little bit, and within a year, he's your starting guard. So, on that note, though, we're going to talk, I know we keep talking about it, we're going to talk some football tomorrow. I actually am getting a little bit more bullish on Arizona's football schedule. I know. But you know what? Hope breeds eternal in this neck of the woods, and that's definitely something that, I'm looking at, and I'm like, all right, we shall see. Plus, also, Arizona can't be any worse than it was last year, so we need to keep that in mind. But I think Noah's going to have a lot of guys to throw to. My big concern is my big concern is, are they going to be able to protect him? Are they going to be able to keep him above board? If they can keep him upright, then I think Arizona is going to be in a good spot. So there's that. Now, the defense, that's obviously a question mark. Also, a massive shout-out to Devin Ness getting the Big 12 Softball Player of the Year. Arizona's going to be in a pretty good spot, and come postseason, softball and baseball. Shout out Dave Hickey, my guy. And we'll be talking about that a little bit as well. But like I said, tomorrow we'll be talking some Arizona football notes. We're also going to be talking a little bit of Arizona basketball. There could be some new news that is coming down the pike. We shall see. But like I said, next week's going to be huge for Arizona, for Carter Bryant at the Combine, and all of that stuff. So, but as always, very much appreciate you all making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. Locked On, your team every day. Bear down and back the A, my friends, because there's nothing better, and we will be back with you. Let's just keep this one going. TTFN.